Jenna Bush Hager is talking candidly about a key source of conflict in her early years with her father, former President George W. Bush. On Friday's broadcast of Today with Jenna and Friends, the TV personality revealed, "There was a period of time when I made bad grades." Hager doubled down, calling them bad, when guest co-host Sheinelle Jones showed signs of skepticism. The mother of three was then questioned by Jones about how her parents, George and Laura Bush, would handle it. Hager, now 43, said, "My dad would sit with me at that kitchen table and try to teach me math, and we'd get into big fights and I'd cry myself to sleep." Described as relatable, Jones said she believes the confession is typical of kitchen tables all over this country at night. Hager could not specify the exact moment of the kitchen table meltdowns, but she and her fraternal twin sister Barbara were 19 years old in 2001, the start of their father's first term as president. In 2008, Hager wed Henry, and the couple has since had three children: Mila, age 12, Poppy, age 10, and Hal, age 6. Hager and her 79-year-old father have a positive relationship despite their previous disagreements. When she learned that her former co-host Hoda Kotb would be leaving the show after 26 years with NBC, she confessed in September 2024 that she contacted the former president in tears. "I think we should discuss about how you phoned your dad. I'm not sure if you're embarrassed to say this." In reference to Hager landing the co-hosting position in 2019, Kotb remarked at the time, "And I remember when you first started working together with me, you were afraid, so she called her dad." Recalling that George was happy for her, Hager jumped in and joked that Kotb, an NBC veteran, was the star. Then, Hager said, "I called him last night because I was so emotional. He initially believed something terrible took place, like I lost a loved one." Hager went on, remembering the consolation and encouragement she received from her father. Then he said, "Oh, she's going out because it's time, and you'll be all right. Now it's your turn. It's all right." Jenna Bush Hager has always been an open book when it comes to her life, her experiences, her challenges, and her journey as a mother, wife, and daughter. But in a recent candid revelation, the beloved Today Show co-host shared a side of her relationship with her father, former President George W. Bush, that few knew about. Despite their close bond, Jenna admitted to facing significant struggles with her father during her younger years, moments so intense that they led to emotional fights, tears, and feelings of alienation. For many, the Bush family is a symbol of strength, leadership, and political prominence. But behind the public image lies a deeply personal story of a father and daughter navigating the complex terrain of family dynamics. Jenna's emotional story reveals the vulnerabilities and imperfections that come with being a member of one of America's most famous families, and it offers a new perspective on the powerful relationship she shares with her father. The Bush family dynamic: public life versus private struggles. The Bush family has always been in the public eye, with George W. Bush serving as the 43rd President of the United States, and his father, George H.W. Bush, being the 41st President. The expectations placed on the Bush children were enormous. As children of prominent political figures, Jenna and her twin sister Barbara were often expected to live up to a certain standard, one that aligned with the values and responsibilities that came with their family legacy. However, Jenna's recent revelations shed light on the personal side of this experience, the side that is often hidden from the public. In an emotional conversation, Jenna admitted that growing up in the Bush family wasn't always as glamorous as it may have appeared from the outside. In fact, it was filled with tension, particularly when it came to her relationship with her father. Jenna recalled how some of her biggest fights with her father stemmed from the pressures of living under the intense scrutiny of public life. As a young woman, Jenna struggled to carve out her own identity while trying to meet the expectations set by her family's political legacy. This led to moments of conflict that tested their relationship, making her feel misunderstood and at times disconnected from her father. A young girl's struggle to find her voice. Jenna's emotional disclosure also touched on the profound struggle she faced in finding her own voice. Growing up, she was often seen as the first daughter, a title that came with its own set of expectations and limitations. As a young girl, she was still learning who she was, what she wanted out of life, and how she could define her path outside of her father's shadow. The tension between Jenna and her father escalated as she grew older, especially during her teenage years. Jenna's relationship with George W. Bush was complicated by her desire for independence and her father's steadfast sense of discipline. While George W. Bush is known for his strong convictions and his leadership qualities, those very traits often clash with Jenna's emerging sense of autonomy. She wanted to make her own choices, and this desire for independence led to moments of friction. "I'd cry myself to sleep," Jenna confessed, sharing how the strain of these fights affected her emotionally. The emotional toll of these arguments left Jenna feeling isolated and misunderstood, especially during moments when she simply wanted her father's approval or understanding. The big fights, power struggles, and misunderstandings. At the heart of Jenna's emotional confession was a series of big fights with her father, arguments that were often sparked by differences in their values, expectations, and desires. Jenna opened up about how her relationship with her father was marked by intense moments of tension that left her feeling emotionally drained. These fights weren't just the typical disagreements between a teenager and her father. They were fueled by power struggles and misunderstandings that were exacerbated by the pressures of public life. One of the most significant points of contention between Jenna and her father came when she was in college. The strict discipline that George W. Bush had instilled in her as a child clashed with Jenna's growing desire for freedom. Jenna often felt stifled by the expectations that were placed on her as a member of a political family. At the same time, George W. Bush was navigating the challenges of being a father while simultaneously serving as the leader of the free world. This balance between fatherhood and presidential duties created a dynamic that was challenging for both parties. "I didn't always understand why he was so hard on me," Jenna admitted, referring to the times when her father's tough love left her feeling hurt and rejected. While George W. Bush's intentions were rooted in wanting the best for his daughter, Jenna couldn't always see past the rigid rules and high expectations. A moment of reconciliation and understanding. Despite the tension and difficult moments in their relationship, Jenna's emotional journey with her father has ultimately led to a place of reconciliation and understanding. With time, maturity, and shared experiences, Jenna has come to realize the depth of her father's love for her, even when it was difficult to see in the heat of their arguments. She admitted that as an adult, she now understands that many of their fights were born from his desire to protect her and prepare her for the challenges of life. In a particularly poignant moment during her conversation, Jenna shared how she and her father were able to reconcile after years of emotional turmoil. Through honest conversations and a shared commitment to their relationship, they were able to bridge the gap that had once seemed insurmountable. Jenna spoke of how, now as an adult and a mother herself, she sees her father in a different light, one that is filled with gratitude for the lessons he taught her, even if they were difficult at the time. Jenna's story is one of growth, self-discovery, and healing. She has learned that her father's discipline and tough love were not signs of rejection, but rather expressions of his love and concern for her future. Their bond, though tested by conflict, has ultimately become stronger and more understanding. The importance of family and forgiveness. Jenna's emotional revelation about her relationship with her father serves as a reminder that no family is perfect. Even the Bush family, with all its public prestige and influence, has faced its own set of challenges. Jenna's story emphasizes the importance of understanding, communication, and forgiveness in maintaining strong family relationships. Through her candid admission, Jenna has shown that the road to healing and reconciliation isn't always smooth. It requires patience, empathy, and a willingness to confront difficult emotions. But it's also a journey that can lead to a deeper understanding of one another and, ultimately, a stronger, more compassionate connection. Conclusion. A bond that survived the storms. Jenna Bush Hager's revelation about her big fights with her father is a powerful reminder of the complexities of family relationships. Despite the struggles they faced, Jenna and her father George W. Bush have emerged from those difficult years with a stronger bond built on mutual respect and understanding. Jenna's story is one of resilience, growth, and love, a story that resonates with anyone who has ever struggled to find their place within their family or to understand the true meaning of love and sacrifice. Through her emotional confession, Jenna has reminded us all that even in the midst of conflict, family remains one of the most powerful sources of support and strength. With time and understanding, the bond between a father and daughter can weather even the toughest storms, emerging stronger than ever before.